is the fight against abortion, by the way, in the US these days? I see minor wins in, let's say, the Texas heartbeat law. Is there a chance for Roe v. Wade to be overturned?
Oh, you just asked $1 million question. It's so funny to hear the perspective from the Philippines, because the United States is on fire when it comes to the topic of abortion. You have a law that was passed in Texas, as well as a law that was passed in Mississippi. Both of these laws have to do with a baby's heartbeat. One of them has to do with, in the state of Texas, for example, once a baby's heartbeat is detectable, it is against the law to have an abortion or to aid an abortion. And so I could get into a lot of the intricacy of these laws, but basically, state of Texas, we've seen tons of lives saved because of the law that went into effect in September. The Supreme Court has refused to hear that Texas law, stating that it can stay in effect. It's written very uniquely that we're seeing for the first time a heartbeat law actually being enforced in the state of Texas since the legalization of abortion in 1973 with Roe versus Wade here in the States. So that's an incredible accomplishment. And then the law coming out of Mississippi has to do with banning abortion with what would be prior to viability. So viability currently, based on medical technology, is at 22 weeks when a baby has survived so far outside of the womb. And so this law bans abortion prior to that, but in Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey, some of our Supreme Court cases, what happened is those cases specifically made it so that you can't really, there's a vagueness, but you can't really ban abortion prior to viability. And so that line is arbitrary, though. And so currently what's happening is our Supreme Court justices are debating, since viability is vague, it can change based on medical technologies. And since also this terminology from Planned Parenthood versus Casey Supreme Court case that says you can put no undue burden on a woman in accessing abortion. The question at hand that we're seeing is the Supreme Court is going to have to decide and look at these questions and define what is an undue burden placed on a woman in accessing abortion, because anyone could say, well, I'm having a hard time getting to the abortion clinic 5 miles away. That's an undue burden, so I should have more access to abortion. Or a baby can survive and has survived last year at 21 weeks outside of the womb. So that broke a Guinness World Records record, but viability is at 22. So even though that baby survived outside of the womb, babies born prior to 22 weeks today in the United States illegally can be killed. So I mean, there's this inconsistency. And so what we're seeing is the Supreme Court, based on the current judges we have, almost all of them have outwardly made comments as they began oral arguments a few weeks ago, recognizing that the current status of where the line in the sand is being drawn on when abortion should and should not be accessible is vague. And so there needs to be a clarity. But what was made as an argument before the Supreme Court a few weeks ago is that the Supreme Court never should have decided this abortion case. So they need to get rid of the Roe versus Wade decision, and the decision needs to go back to each and every individual state. And so the expectation and the hope is that come June, when our Supreme Court makes their next a round of decisions, they will decide that Roe versus Wade is gone and the states get to decide the status of abortion is. And so this is a huge fight here in the States right now.
That would be a big deal if it was overturned.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is the hope and the prayer.
I remember going to the US because in the Philippines, there's really not much pro-abortion movement here. There's a brewing pro-abortion movement that we're trying to fight. But when I went to the US, it pains me to see a protest for abortion. So they're on a bridge with signs and that says honk if you're for abortion. And it pains me to see the drivers honking real loud for abortion. So that's kind of surreal for me to see those people.
Right. But something wonderful to see. I've been a part of many, they're called overpass projects, where we have pro-life signs on the freeway and it says honk if you're pro-life. People are waving and smiling. There are far more people, and I've seen this firsthand countless times, on the people on the road in Southern California, in Los Angeles,
Really?
who are
California?
pro-life. Yes, who are pro-life. It's just that the media likes to tell a different story, and we need to
Oh,
tell
okay.
another story, that we are pro-life. Most people don't want abortion the way that people say, or they're lied into believing they want it.
Hi, this is Aruga of the Aruga Show. If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing and smash that like button. We'll need all of your help to take back the culture from this ideological colonization of the West. Thank you.